This is a review for Movavi Video Editor. I've reviewed some of the previous software before, the Mac versions of Video Converter and also their screen capture program. I will also be reviewing the Windows versions as well soon. So let's start by taking a look up here. You have help and frequently asked questions, you have a tutorial, you can contact support from here. If you can upgrade to the video suite and save 30%, which is basically just a suite of some of the video editing programs and screen capture programs in a bundle. You can request a new feature in the software. You can check for updates. You see I'm using version 10, which is the latest version at this time. You can go to playback. There is play, go to next frame, basic things like that, jump to beginning, jump to end with all the shortcuts, space to play and pause. Preview mode, standard or anaglyphic 3D. It does support 3D, this software, or if you have a lower spec computer, instead of having the preview quality is good, you can set it down to normal or low. You can go edit, which is standard, undo, copy, cut, paste, delete, a few other things such as save the current frame as an image. Set left and right marker, split the clip, which is also Control Shift S, cut, multi-split, add titles, add an empty clip, detect the scenes. You can create a slideshow and go to preferences. Let's have a look at preferences. I should also note before I continue that this is a Windows only software, however they are releasing their video editor on Mac soon. Okay, preferences, standard interface language sort of settings. You just select the software's language, in this case English. Like Final Cut Pro 10, which is my editor of choice I've used for quite a while now, you can have the project rendering in the background, which is what I use in the other program, so I recommend leaving that ticked. You also have enable NVIDIA GPU acceleration, which uses the CUDA cores. However, if you have the latest NVIDIA drivers for your graphics card, they have taken that support out, that encoder out of the drivers, which is a bit of an annoying thing. And it's not just this program you can't enable it with, it's also their video converter and programs by other companies, because they need to switch to a newer encoder which isn't called CUDA acceleration. It's got another name and some sort of initials I can't remember offhand. But the one way, if you really want to use that, is either to just get on with it for now and wait until software like this updates to the newer encoder, or if you really want it, you can roll back your NVIDIA drivers. This is really something that I don't really feel they should have done yet in the NVIDIA drivers, and it's no fault of Movavi's. You can also, if you have Intel HD onboard graphics, you can use its acceleration here, which I don't have onboard graphics on the computer I'm using, which is my brother's computer. I actually have two dedicated graphics cards, 780 Ti graphics cards in SLI mode, so that's why that's grayed out, and this is grayed out because his drivers are up to date. Temporary folder, you can change the temporary folder, perhaps even put it on an external drive if you like there. Advanced, prompt me to add transition between files, you can just untick that if it's annoying. Enable fast track HD and change the temporary folder for that. Okay, what is fast track HD? It's mainly aimed at people with lower specs. What it does is it creates a exact copy of your video file and project and makes it a much lower resolution, and that is not what you're going to export. It's for the preview and the editing. So when you're working with your project and editing, there's a low resolution copy that's used for previews instead of the full resolution one, so you can keep working and editing and make your videos even if you've got slightly lower specs, which is quite a good idea. Others, you've got play your background color, which is up here. Check for new versions on start. If that gets annoying or whatever, you can turn it off. Their improvement program, send anonymous user stats to Movavi to help improve the program. I personally like to leave that on, but some people don't like that type of thing, in which case you can disable it, that's fine. Okay, Let's go to File. From here you can add media, such as open a media file, DVD file, a 3D file, capture video from say your web camera, or record audio from say your desktop USB mic, such as a Snowball or the Yeti or whatever you might have. New project, open project, save project as, all the sort of things you expect to find under File, including save movie, and you can save it there or burn it to DVD or upload to the web. And you've got project settings. I'd recommend leave it on set from start, from first clip. So the first clip you drag from your library will define the settings, such as the resolution and aspect ratio. This is what Final Cut Pro does, and I tend to like to leave it on that. But if you know you're always going to want to use something and you want to override that, you can select say HD 1080p, which is 1920 by 1080 at 16:9, and it will always do that, and whatever the clip is it will override it. But let's leave it like that, and it tells you your current settings here. OK. Now create a new project there. You can add media here, all those things that you'll find under File, including get more content, such as more transitions and fades. Well, fades is transitions in this program, effects and titles, or you can capture your audio stuff from here. Now let's hit media. This is where you import your media. You can drag files here or select up here. Let's go here. Now let me say, okay, I've added some media, some I don't want. This one here I'm going to import, and I've also added audio track, but like I say, that's just to demonstrate. Let's just go here, and it'll say the width and height for the project will now be set depending upon the width and height for the first file because of what we defined in settings. You can disable this warning or whatever here and click OK. It will now load the thumbnails, and you can scroll over them to get a preview, or you can press space to play it with audio, or select your settings such as play and rewind up here. You have up at top is a title track, down here is your video track, and here is a couple of audio tracks. So say I wanted that, I could drag it down here, but I don't really want that. Let's hit delete on the keyboard. That's got rid of that. So we've imported our video file. Now what if we wanted to split it? Let's go here. You can go up here as I've shown before, or you can go here and add more audio, video or title tracks. You can cut, which is split here, so that's split it into two parts. You could also split it into multiple parts, undo, redo, volume, speed, slow motion effect and duration. Let's just show you adding another video track. There you go. Another audio track. There you go. You can also drag and drop them, the order. You have over here as well storyboard layout or normal timeline. You can also drag here and adjust the size of your timeline. You can also click here, which is expand to full screen the timeline. So if you want the timeline to expand the whole thing here and just quickly get rid of all this top bit here, such as import and the preview, you can. You can also zoom up here as well, and you can select the size of the icons up here. Now what do we do now? We've edited our clip. Well, why don't we start by adding an effect such as camera shake. We just drag on or double click like that. That has camera shake now on it. Let's add a transition, or as they call it in here, a fade between the two clips. Now if I go here, there, now you can see that the title is working.
But if you have Intel graphics, at least XT series, you'll be able to use their more.
So you can see that the transition is working as well as the camera shake. We could also now add a title such as flying words. Oops, this mouse is a bit weird. Okay, I added it there. I can now go to settings, title. Let's just leave it as flying words. We can also adjust it up here, make it bigger. We can rotate it and move it around up here. We can add shadow, we can add an animation. In this case the default one was flying words for it. We can also change the speed. The background, we can add a shape such as this. We can then, that is in the background, we could then add the size to it and make it nice and big. Our words are so big now it won't fit into that, but we could always make the text smaller. Let's just make it smaller in general. Okay, so we've added a title, we've adjusted its settings, we've added transition, we've added a camera shake. Now let's say we've got a whole short film that we want to make finished. What next? Let's hit save movie. Now we can choose, is it a 3D movie? Do we just want the audio? Do we want to save it for mobile devices? Do we want to burn it to a DVD straight away or upload it straight away? Let's say save as a video file. We then can select our format here. Let's just say general video and select down here, and you can select XVID and MKV, but let's select 2864. We can then do settings and customize it a bit more, such as the audio format and sample rate and various presets here. So let's just leave it on what it is. In fact, let's select normal quality there, but apart from that, let's leave it like this and hit save. Attention, estimated file size exceeds 4 GB, which may cause problems for most media players. To reduce size, lower the bitrate under settings or use the AVI video, XVID video or MPEG-2 H.264 HD video preset for higher compression levels. Well, that is because some devices will use, say, they'll do playback off of a USB thumbstick, and often the thumbstick is formatted as a standard FAT32 format, and FAT32 does not like formats files such as video files, audio files that are over 4 gigs, and it will cause problems. But as long as your SD card, your USB is formatted as FAT64, also known as exFAT, that will get rid of that problem. The only problem you may then have is if you're then trying to play it back on a TV that doesn't recognize that formatting of a card. So it does warn you about that. But let's say I don't care right now. I can go here, select a name. Let's just give it a rubbish name. Save. You can then wait or watch a preview, but that will probably slow down your computer and slow down the exporting if you have a preview on. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to untick that. You can then cancel it down here, or you can minimize it to your tray down the bottom near the clock. So if you want to minimize it there out of the way and continue working on other things, you can. Although of course the more you have open, the slower it will go. Your estimated time that is elapsed is there, then time remaining is here, in which case, because it's a 15-minute file that's been edited, it's going to take a bit of time depending upon the format. Bear in mind I'm not using any hardware acceleration. I am also recording a video at the same time. What I don't see any listed in this software, like their other programs such as their video converter, is super speed. Some formats in video converter support super speed, which is kind of its own hardware acceleration, and it will export videos then super fast. This doesn't seem to have it, even though it supports CUDA encoding using the GPU as an accelerator, and it supports using Intel HD graphics as an accelerator. It doesn't seem to have its own super speed like some of the other software, so that I'd like to see added. This program costs around £30 in the UK with VAT, so it's a nice cheap video editor if you don't want to spend a couple hundred on something like Final Cut Pro 10, or you're on Windows and you don't have that option anyway and you don't want to pay for another one, and you're not satisfied with, say, Windows Movie Maker, which doesn't seem as good as it used to be when it first came out anyway. So this is a good editor which will continue, I'm sure, to have more pro level features added gradually in the future. I would also like to see more titles, as it has lots of effects and fades but very few title designs to pick from. Let's just cancel that. And OK. So it is a good editor. It's very, very responsive. That was my fault, mouse. That is not the program, that's my mouse not gripping. Anyway, there you go. So it's really responsive, and when you do scroll, the preview updates immediately without any lag. It's a very responsive program. It's not too much, on the interface. The interface is nice and simple, especially for beginners. It also has a few nice extra additions, such as 3D support, which not all editors do, especially not the cheaper ones. So you can edit and render 3D files. Let's just go, before we finish this, to DVD. And I'm wondering, you say, I haven't tried burning, so I'm not sure if you can burn to Blu-ray, because it only says add DVD. So if you can't burn to a Blu-ray disc, I would like that support added too. But apart from that, and you can request a feature if it's missing, and hopefully they'll add it. So for a cheaper, simple editor, it's nice, responsive, fast, and you get lots of file format support and hardware acceleration. So thanks for watching. So please like and share this video, and if you could do me a huge favour and also subscribe, as it only takes a couple of seconds and helps me out a lot.